On your PowerPoint, if you haven't already, on your blank presentation, do a Control M so we have a new blank slide, and we're just going to stay with the header body layout here. And let's just create a title. And I'm just going to be generic and call it title. And I do have to type something there because if I didn't, it wouldn't actually ever show the header. It's kind of cool like that. Now I'm just going to do item 1, item 2, item 3, sub item 1, sub item 2.
Wait, what's the button to go down? Like it's not enter for the sub
Tab.
No,
Yep.
it doesn't go down.
You have to enter and then tab. Enter and then tab. So what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about animating your text entrance. So what we've already talked about is animating slide transitions, so that way you can go and it fades into the next slide or whatever. But with text and as well as with pictures, you can animate individual items here. So we're going to click on the animations tab on the top. And of course we've got our generic animations, but you'll notice we have an add animation option here. And in here I've got different ones. We've got entrance. Entrance is text and objects animate as they appear on the slide, which is one of the most commonly used animation types. We also have emphasis. The appearance of the text and objects already visible on the slide change, or the text or objects move. You have exit. Text and objects leave the screen before the slideshow advances to the next slide. And then you've got motion paths. Text and objects follow a specific path on a slide. Reasons you might use exits is maybe you want to animate a picture coming in, so you can do an appear, and then you could have it exit off, and then you're just going to replace it with another image, but you don't want to change the content of the slide. There's two ways, of course, doing that. Animations would be the most logical, or you could duplicate your slide a bunch of times and then have the image change, keeping the text the same. But animations would be the more logical way to go. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take object item 1, I'm going to add an animation for that, and I'll just do grow shrink. And so it just animated it here for me and shows how that did. Now if you notice, I've got a little number 1 here indicating that that's animation 1 that's going to happen. Well, there is no animation 2, so then everything else is just going to kind of come in. But I can actually set this up, so now I can do item 2, I can add a different animation. I'll do a wheel in. And now you're going to see a little number 2 appear here. So I can modify these. I probably didn't want to do darken on text. That didn't really make sense. Now, obviously, if you're doing a big project, you don't want to have a gazillion different animations, especially for every line of text. That is going to be really annoying to the person viewing it, very unprofessional. Your animation should make sense and should complement your PowerPoint. So now if I were to play this slide, you'll notice as I click, everything's here, but so little explanation as to what I did, and you can stack animations. Number 2 was an entrance animation. That's why you don't see it yet, as well as I think click 5 it would be, which is going to be sub item 2. The other ones are emphasis. So the items are already on the screen and they're going to emphasize. I'm going to click here now, so this is an entrance one. Item 3, emphasize. This is the one where it was supposed to color black. It doesn't really make sense on text. Sub item 2, emphasis. It's going to flash bold, as it did there. And now the next one is an entrance one, so I click and it bounces in. So those are the different ways you can do that. Now you can also get to your animations pane. Maybe. I'm trying to remember how to do that. Used to be a pane that would appear over on the right hand side in the older version. Oh, should also mention that if you wanted to change your timing, the size of your, like, let's say you're doing grow and shrink and you want to change the size of that, you can do it here. You could also add sounds to your animations, so as they come in, you could have a, like, an actual bouncing sound come in or whatever. Yep.
Your pane's up at the top right.
It's in the animation, advanced animation group as a command.
As a,
Right under review tab. Go up now with your mouse.
oh, thank you. That's what I was looking for. So over here, I could simply reorder these. I can customize them from here. Get additional options. You can change on how it starts. If I want to start on a specific time, I could set up my timing for that, so I'm not actually clicking. We kind of talked about that on how slide transitions happen. Start with previous or start after previous. So what start after previous would do, that one's going to be a little more logical, as soon as the previous animation is done, then the next one is going to come in automatically. So you don't have to, if you've got a list and you're doing entrance animations, let's say they fade in, you don't have to go click, 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 click as they all fade in. They'll just automatically fade in one line at a time. Make sense? So that's a little bit more of an advanced animation. Gonna jump ahead to working with a little bit more, do a Control M, a little bit more with images here. We flew through that last week, so I want to cover it again. I'm just gonna do a table and content here, and then go ahead and choose picture, and we're gonna do online picture. Hopefully yours is going, mine's not responding. Once you get to search, let's just search for the Rocky Mountains.
Are we doing like the little kid pictures or an actual picture?
Oh, like, yeah, we're gonna do an actual photograph. Looks like I'm gonna have to go grab a picture and paste it in. Maybe my internet dropped out altogether and that's why it's not working. Sweet. Pause the video while I get that fixed. Alright, so the internet's not working for me. I'm just going to insert this picture of the school here. With it selected, I'm going to go up to, well, format should be hopefully active for you. If you're using a particular theme, you can actually come up here and drop down color, and you can recolor your photo. And as you hover over these, you can see your color changing in the background. So let's say I'm using a blue theme. I can go ahead and change that, and you'll see that my photo is now colored. Over here, you also have artistic effects and corrections. So if you need to just do a quick brightness contrast adjustment, this is really nice. Like maybe your picture's a little too dark, you can go ahead and just brighten that up. That way you don't have to bring it into Photoshop and fix it. Yeah, is yours working? If you want to change out your picture, or if you want to reset your picture back to the original, you've got that option up here as well. If you wanted to do a background image, no, sorry, actually, this is great if we had a white picture. I really wish I had that. So I'm going to explain how remove background works. I don't have one right now. So you've gone online before, you probably find an image, stock images especially, that it's got the graphic, but then it's got this white cutout. Well, let's say I make this my background. And I just went and grabbed one of those white pictures and I've placed it over this. What is going to be the problem if this is my background? it's blocked out. It's just a big white block of a background, and then you've got your picture. Well, if you want to get rid of that white background and just have it just be the actual object, you can do remove background. This may or may not do something here. Yeah. So it's trying to get rid of the sky, and it looks like it might keep the school. And you can also go through and mark areas to keep, mark areas to remove. And I kind of like this little bit of clouds here. You can see the preview of what it's going to look like. I'm going to hit keep changes. And so look what it did to the school picture now. It got rid of what it thought was not needed. And like I said, this works much better if you've got a white background. So you can reposition this. Now it's not such a distracting picture anymore.
Is there any way you could fix the background, I guess? Like how it still has part of the sky and then it took like parts out of the school?
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that. And then if I click on remove background, I've got these options up here where it says mark areas to remove and then delete mark. So I want to, I'm going to go draw around this sky here. Okay, so the sky's gone. Now I want to delete a mark. Ooh, I wonder if it's gonna, oh, here we go. Mark areas to keep. And now, oh, I missed the spot over here, but now the wall is back, sort of. So that's the idea behind remove a background.
Mine turned out really nice.
Yours turned out nice? Good, I'm glad.
Well, after I fixed it. Because she wanted, you know, like dogs, stuff like that.
Now, if you notice, however, if I were to add a border, it's actually adding these borders around the original size of the image. It's not doing it to my cropped area. So just keep that in mind. Do another new slide, Control M. We're going to do a blank slide. On your Home tab, we're going to go to Shapes. And go ahead and take the triangle shape under Basic Shapes. And just go ahead and draw a bit of a triangle here. Now if you hold Shift, of course, you're going to get an equal triangle.
Should we make an equal triangle?
Yeah, why not? So now we're going to go up to the Format button. And we can do some different styles. So we can do a shape fill effect, shape outline, or we can drop this down and choose a pre-done one for us. Now if you're working with a theme, it'll give you the theme's fill. If you go to more fill colors, obviously we can get others, but the gradient one, hover over these and go ahead and pick a gradient. It doesn't really show up that well. We can go more gradients, and I think we can darken this a little bit more. Yeah, so our original color. There we go. Now I don't like linear gradients as much as I do radial. And we're going to change the position of that. No, I want to move the actual position of the shape. I don't know if I can. Oh, I see. It's a corner gradient. Circular median gradient. That looks nice. Now go up to Insert. We're going to do a text box. Click and type Superior Tours. Insert another text box. On the side, we've got excellent guides. And on the left-hand side, reasonable prices. In the middle, ACLT in caps. Change that to bold and white. And I'm going to go 36-point font.
Now, is there, I don't know if we've covered this already, but is there like a shortcut to get to a text box instead of
going up to insert text box every time?
Yeah.
I don't know of a shortcut that will do that. You can right click and add it to the quick access toolbar, but I don't know of any key combination that'll just throw in a text box for you.
How big did you make it then?
I did 36 here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this triangle, we're going to rotate it. Superior Tours will stay there, but we're going to reposition it kind of centered. And you notice how this line appears? It's telling me that that's centered on the page. Triangle's not centered though. There we go. We're going to take excellent guides. And we're going to rotate that so that it sits right along the side here. And reasonable prices will rotate the opposite way. So here's how you can kind of design an infographic using the shapes. What do you notice about my triangle right now that's a problem?
The gradient change.
I didn't notice
It's
it.
off the page.
It's off the page. That's going to be a bigger issue. Yeah, everything needs to move up. I can do a block selection by clicking in a white space and dragging, and it selects everything. Oh, except for the triangle. It didn't move that. And I just use my arrow keys to nudge it up. I can customize this shape some more. I can right click, format shape here. And I could do a stroke outline if I wanted to. So here we go. Solid line, color, white. Change, well, actually, I'm gonna go black so you can actually see it. And I can change the weight of it. Whether I want it to be a dashed line or whatever I want to do there. But now, if you notice in my shape, format shape pane on the right hand side, I do have two other options other than fill and line. I've got size and properties and then effects. So I can take effects. I do want to do a slight drop shadow. drop that down here. We'll just do a little bit like that, and then I can change the size, transparency, angle, and distance. If I push out the distance, it obviously looks like it comes out a little further. I can increase the blur. Now it's nice and soft looking. And if it's still too dark, I can decrease the transparency. There you go. Nice little drop shadow. And then under size, position, you can just see the different things you can do that with this here. The position is if you're specifically trying to set your X and Y coordinates based off of inches. You can also set your alignment within the text box. Text options here, if I were to take Superior Tours, and I could also do a gradient fill. I could do a line outline. I can come over here, I could do a drop shadow on my, I'll do it on the ACLT in the middle here. I'll do a drop shadow.
Are we saving this?
No. So you can see there's a little bit of a shadow effect down here now. Also what I did here, just so you notice, whoops. I do have my zoom, so if you ever need to zoom in, you can zoom in on your page using the slider on the bottom.
We save this.
We will not be saving this, nope. And that actually got us all the way through what we needed to get through today. Any questions?